Today I'm going to talk about difficult cards, and that is cards that are like sympathy cards or I'm sorry cards, messages to people having a rough time for some reason. Those kind of cards tend to be harder to make, and I know particularly me when it comes to sympathy, I don't stock them, I don't hold on to them for a long time, I make them only when I need them because they don't give me a great feeling inside. However, sympathy cards, I'm sorry cards, make a real big difference to the person receiving them. So they are worth our effort. Here are two that I made thanks to an inspiration challenge. I was inspired by a black and white wedding cake. When you're making sympathy, I'm sorry, things like that, you want to stay clean and simple if you can. That way it's less materials and therefore it should cut down on your stress level as you're making these cards. You want to have a stamp and a good greeting to help you. And I created this using one stamp, which I can't show you because it has not been released to the public yet. But this stamp has been repeated twice, tilted, and then I have tucked sentiments into the image for a clean and simple sympathy card on both sides. So I'm going to show you how you can do this yourself. And no matter what level you're at in stamping, you can still do this. Even no matter what stamps you have. I'm going to give you some tips on how to do this. You don't want to use your mat board for this, your cutting mat, which is what I usually use for these videos, because you need a stamping surface where the ink is going to dry quickly. Alright? The stamps that I've chosen to use is called Elements of Style. And the reason I've chosen to use it is because these two stamps just lend to this nice soft tilt over that I enjoy using. Because the tilt is what helps me to tuck the sentiment into the front of the card very easily. So I'm going to start with this piece right here. And again, as you know, I love the technique of repetition. I'm going to repeat this several times. I'm using black VersaFine ink. The reason is because I really want the darkness of the black VersaFine. And I'm using a D block. I'm going to ink it up. And you can look at your stamp to see if you've completely inked it. If you see any blotchiness, then you know to keep inking. Okay, now I'm going to kind of give this a tilt on the bottom. And I'm going to do this twice. So I'm going to stamp once. It's a beautiful impression I got there, guys. And then I'm going to rotate the image. So you know what I've decided in this is that I need to stamp it 3 times to get the best look. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. My Stampin' Majig helped me figure that out. Okay. Press that down. And then I'm going to do it one more time, so it will be kind of like a diagonal. Be aware that when you do this, you've got to keep in mind where the top of your stamp is. So the top of my stamp, I always keep it at the top corner. This is a great way to make your own designer series paper too. Just make sure you always put the top of the image in the same place when you're using the Stampin' Majig. Okay, and then finally I'm going to take the last piece of it up here, trying my best to fill in, so to speak, to fill in the blanks. Okay. There, I'm going to let it dry for a minute. And then I really had fun with that, so let's take it a little bit simpler on this second one. And let's just stamp it low and then stamp the other one at an angle to that. Okay, so you have this one and you have this one. So I'm going to give this a few minutes to dry, literally 2 minutes to dry, because this is VersaFine. It's not a quick drying ink. So hang out, I'll be right back. I've let the ink dry and now I'm ready to put my sentiments on. Actually prepared my Stamp-A-Ma-Jig for this and it disappeared. Here it is. So my Stamp-A-Ma-Jig has my 2 sentiments already prepared because clean and simple cards, you don't have any place to hide your mistakes. So I recommend to those new to clean and simple, use your Stamp-A-Ma-Jig often. Okay, so let's start with the larger space. So again, I'm looking at these 2 cards and I'm saying which one has the larger space. I'm going to turn them over to me and I'm going to use my Stamp-A-Ma-Jig because I want to figure out where to put that definition, my memories. Okay, and I think I've chosen to put it on this one. The reason being is this white space seems to be, to me, more conducive to that large definition. Whereas this white space looks perfect for a shorter sentiment. So you see how the Stamp-A-Ma-Jig also helps me decide where is the best place for that sentiment. So let's put this aside. Let's do the larger one first. Again, I'm still using the VersaFine ink in black. And I'm using the by definition stamp set right now for the definition. And when I do these, I like to position it. Now you can use your grid if you want to, but I'm positioning it, what's in my mind is how well it fits with the image. So if I can tuck it into a spot in that image so that they look like they were born together, then I will. Alright, so now I'm going to ink this up. I'm very careful with my by definition because it's a double mounted set and you can make a mistake and pick the wrong side. Alright, and stamp, lift right back up. Okay, and so then you get the definition in there. And now I'm going to take the other one and I'm going to decide where with Sympathy goes. And I can tuck it right there, I can tuck it down here. I think I like it more dramatic right there. And with the Stamp-A-Ma-Jig, you almost don't need the grid paper. Although, you know, I'm a big fan of my grid paper. Stamping down and straight back up. And so I've got that. So I should be able to fold now. Again, VersaFine is not a quick drying ink, so be careful everything you do if you're not sure if it's dry. I can use my phone. Clean and simple Sympathy cards. Stamp-A-Ma-Jig and a good stamp and you're done. Thanks for coming.